Today, I'm going to give you guys the secret to how I set really big goals and achieve them. Hey, you guys, welcome back to the Mogul Magness Podcast. My name's Jonah Magness. I own and operate martial arts studios, and we're going to talk about the things that I've been able to help myself and my friends be a little bit more successful in our businesses. Charles Munger talks a lot about inverted thinking and that whole process and the many ways that he's used it throughout his life to figure out really, really big decisions. And so that is the key way that I set these really big goals for my business. The question I base everything off of is the I can't statement. I can't because blank. And so today, the question that I'm going to base all of this off of is going to be, what would it take for me to double my business in 1 year? I'll need a better onboarding process to handle all of those new members. I'll need incredible customer support system on the back end to make sure that everybody is getting the attention they need. I will definitely need more employees to make all of this happen, which then leads to I will need a really rigid training process and probably a person to manage the team or manage the different departments of the teams to handle the hiring process and training process. I'll need to make sure my schedule can accommodate going up in that big of size and that big of volume, whether it happens in a year or less or in 2 years. I need to make sure I have the class schedule in place to make sure I can be successful. I will also need to learn how to manage that many employees and set up a really clean communication system of who everybody's direct reports are, even if that means I have to have more managers to handle the whole team, like I talked about earlier. The last thing for now is I believe I will also need a coach or a mentor that's already been at the level that I want to get to. This is a list of 8 goals that I need to accomplish to make doubling my business a reality. At least for myself, when I thought of doubling my business, I kind of see that as an impossibility, especially in the bounds of a year. That's a lot that I would have to go through. But what it is a lot that I have to go through and I have to change about myself and the structure within my business to accomplish it. So now I get to go line by line through these 8 goals and see what action steps I can take to close that loop and make sure that part of the business is ready to be doubled, ready to onboard, ready to have customer support, have the team and the staff and the process to train them and get them ready to handle that many new members. Thinking about the I can't in the business is the easiest way to then realize, well, if I wanted to half my business in a year, this is what I do. If I wanted to kill my business in a year, this is what I would do. So when I think about doubling my business, that's a scary thought because I don't think it would survive right now. If I was just to get double the members, my entire business would crumble. I wouldn't keep them for very long, probably lose my current members. And that's why going through this inverted thinking process for myself has been the best way to set really big goals and make a lot of progress towards them. So now we're going to talk about a handful of my list of 8 that I'm already working on and working towards. So that way we can get the business to explode in the next year or 2. And that's just it. I don't need to hit the goal in 1 year or I'm a loser. I want to make sure that I'm just working at that pace. So that way I'll be a whole heck of a lot closer in that year to my actual goal of doubling. If I was to set the goal at 5 to 10 years from now, I would work at a much slower pace and probably get distracted, not follow through. So giving myself the balance of doing it in a year or less is going to push me to get ever more closer to my final goal. So the first thing we're going to talk about is customer support or customer success and how I'm improving that and changing that in the business to prepare to grow the business. For customer support or customer success, what I did was I created a script for my team to learn of what questions to ask the parents or the students and how to follow up with those questions, and then how to properly take notes on what feedback we're getting based on the questions that we're asking. Then from there, what I did was I sat down with whoever went and did the communication with the parents or the students, and what we sat through was what felt awkward about starting the conversation, what felt awkward going from the first question to the second question, so forth, and what felt awkward about exiting the conversation. Because if you have really big classes and you want to talk to 40, 50 students and you only have 40 minutes, 30 minutes, or an hour, how do you talk to that many families? You have to be able to be very concise as well as give the attention that they need, so that way you can get the best answers from the families and the best results in terms of helping them stay with us longer, so they feel that we are supplying exactly what they need and they want out of this experience. So far, I've refined it 5 times and now it seems to be working pretty well. But every single day, we go back through and I ask them what went well, what didn't go well. Do you think there's something we need to change? So that way I'm constantly improving how my team can communicate with the family. So that way it is as easy of a process no matter who I give that script to. For training and the communication system on the back end for my team with each other and myself, I'm trying a bunch of different apps right now. I'm trying Asana, Monday.com, Notion. If you have suggestions, leave them in a comment down below. And I'm just trying them for myself because I want to see what I feel the most comfortable using in my workflow, as well as then I will go through and see what's the easiest to work with. And it's all just going to be a learning situation and a learning curve for me to understand it well enough to then go explain it to my team. And after I feel comfortable with one, or I choose one, or I try a few more and I just pick what one I think will work best for our business's workflow, then I'll be able to go in, upgrade to whatever premium plan I need to put my whole team on it so that way we can track everything and improve our communication systems. But right now I'm still just in the testing phase of a bunch of different ones. What I'm excited for about these applications is that it's going to help me make everything my team is doing a lot more trackable in terms of rewarding the successes and catching anywhere that we're falling short of what we need to be hitting in terms of who we're talking to, how much money we're making, and everything in between. So that way my team has more measurable steps of what actions they need to be taking each and every day. Lastly, for me, one thing that I'm working on is getting a coach to help mentor me through this process of doubling my business. They're already a high-level operator. They've been through the process of going from one to many locations, as well as all of those locations are killing it. So I've reached out to a couple people to figure out who I think I'm going to work best with and who I want to get advice from. And all the people that I've reached out to have already done me the favor of giving me a lot of tips and a lot of mentorship through this whole process. So now I just want to formalize it and make sure that they're getting the best value of giving me their time. And for me, that's just asking them to coach me and paying whatever their fee is, because that'll help me skip a lot of years of learning and speed up this process. I want you guys to share this with someone who you think needs to start inverting their thinking. Take that I can't statement and make it a list of what goals are why you can't do it. And then flip it on its head of, okay, well, what if I change X, Y, and Z to be a goal of how I need to change myself or need to change my business to accomplish that I can't statement, because I can't right now. And that's the most important part to me about inverted thinking and why I use it for my goal setting. Check out my other podcasts over in my playlist, as well as subscribe for more.